Thank you. Well, I want to come back to some other issues affecting the American economy. You'll have 45 seconds to answer these. Some of our big trading partners commit human rights violations. Considering that poverty and abuse are also often blamed for fostering terrorism, how should we alter trading policies with these countries? Senator Biden?
We should hold them accountable. Every new trade agreement, and I've voted against them all since CAFTA, including CAFTA, every new trade agreement should have built into it whatever we all talk about. We talk about environmental standards and labor standards, but we talk about it in terms of preserving jobs here, which is important. But it's also about human rights. How are we possibly helping a third world country, a developing country, by signing an agreement with them, knowing that it's going to be they're going to exploit workers, they're going to exploit their own citizenry, either by polluting their lungs or their drinking water, and or putting them in a position where they're getting paid a couple bucks a week. So it should be a condition to every trade agreement that we engage in.
Governor Richardson?
Well, I believe that human rights is a fundamental tenet of American foreign policy and therefore trade policy, and I'm going to be very specific. What we need to do is impose trade sanctions when a country violates human rights and doesn't hold elections, as we should be doing and we're doing in Burma, as we're doing in Sudan, as we probably should consider doing with China. But also, I think in any future trade agreement, we've got to specify that every nation that we trade with and have a trade agreement has to follow international core labor standards, no child labor, no slave labor, the right for freedom of assembly, collective bargaining, the opportunity to make sure that there's job safety, that there's some kind of wage parity too, and also environmental protection, air quality standards. This is what's important. These are our values. We have to transmit our democratic values of equality and freedom and human rights when it comes to our trade policy, when it comes to our national security policy, and when it comes with us doing business abroad to promote American trade and exports and get more jobs for our people.
Senator Dodd?
Well, I go back, and again, talking time, the Harkin Amendment, adopted a number of years ago, back when we thought human rights in the Carter administration had some value. He was a strong supporter of it then. Then we walked away from it. We paid a price for it. Too often people identify and think that human rights and security are composing interests here. They're actually the same interest. Our job is, of course, to advance the security of our country. We do it in no better and stronger fashion than by talking about these universal rights which we embrace in this country here. So it ought to be part of the seamless conduct of our foreign policy, not on some ad hoc basis where we apply it one place but not another. It needs to be understood in the very beginning, from my presidency here, that if you're going to do business with the United States, human rights is fundamentally important. We care about it, the world cares about it, and that's one way to enhance our reputation, restore our footing and moral authority in the world here by insisting that this be a part of that seamless conduct of the nation's foreign policy.
I feel like I still owe Senator Edwards some time here in the mix here, so if you want to take this on, and then I think we're going to move on, and the rest of you will have a chance here in a couple of minutes.
Well, what I would say is human rights should be central to the way America engages with the rest of the world, should be central to our trade policy. But if you look at what's happened with American trade policy, you asked about China a few minutes ago. Look at what America got. Big corporations made a lot of money, are continuing to make a lot of money in China. But what did America get in return? We got millions of dangerous Chinese toys. We lost millions of jobs. Right here in Iowa, the Maytag plant in Newton closed. A guy named Doug Bishop, who I got to know very well, had worked in that plant, and his family had worked in that plant literally for generations. And his job is now gone. The same thing, by the way, happened in the plant that my father worked in when I was growing up. It is so important that we stop allowing these corporate powers and corporate profits to run America's policy, whether it's trade policy, how we engage with China. This is not good for America. It's not good for American jobs, and it's not good for working people in this country.